You cannot expect white people to have this master understanding of sociology and to hear the same messages that if given to any other group of people would be horrible and think they're okay. You have to treat white people like normal people. You can't pretend that they're these gods that can, yes, indubitably, we will become a minority someday, but the power structures that exist in society will make this unacceptable.
The Hart-Celler Immigration Act of 1965.
Well, oh God, I did so much oh my God, I'm sorry, hold on. You could do a whole stream on Hart-Celler. I did so much reading about this immigration bill. This is probably one of the most wrong things I've ever heard in my entire life.
We want to bring in people from sweatshops because that's what's best for the...
It doesn't even, none of this makes sense. None of it makes sense. Why would we want to bring in people from sweatshops? The whole reason why corporations will
Let's get to this. The Great Replacement.
Why does he wear this dumb fucking back holster? It's the dumbest, corniest, cringiest fucking thing in the world. Why does he do it? Every time I see it now, I'm getting more and more irritated about it. Fuck.
This is the talk everywhere, and everyone is afraid. The left has been very effective in making people afraid to even address it. Now, let me be really clear here. I am not saying that the Great Replacement theory is a theory that needs to be espoused. What I am saying is that there has been a misrepresentation, of course, of shooters, how they've been influenced, and who is out there, right, preaching this idea of the Great Replacement theory. What they want to do now, people at CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, all of media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, they want you to believe that it is mainstream republicanism to tout a neo-Nazi slogan of Great Replacement theory in order to silence you from discussing a very real issue of, I wouldn't even necessarily say race, I wouldn't even necessarily do the cop-out and just say culture, but voting, demographics, and the purchasing therein. So in case you haven't heard, let's just go here so you see what I'm talking about. Everyone from the left has been, we have a montage.
Oh shit, before we do
this. The real question is why doesn't he wear it at his Change My Mind events?
Somebody in my subreddit got ass mad and they made a post about how like, oh, it was this one. Nice, 300 comments. Destiny just went on this dumbass rant about how both sides want to end democracy given the chance. If the time set doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. If it's not obvious, both sides wanting to give themselves an advantage doesn't mean they're the same. This is like saying it'd be as unfair for a runner to shoot his opponent in the head to win as it would be for said opponent to remove a ball and chain because it'd help him win. Not sure you can argue about the importance of individuals, but basically they're mad because I was saying that like some Republicans want to fucking coup the government, and then some like liberals or progressives want to like eliminate the Senate, this electoral college or whatever. And he's like, it's not the same thing. No, they're not the same thing. Obviously, okay? What I'm saying, and what I will stand by until the fucking day that I die, is that the only reason why people push for certain things isn't because they have some principled obligation of what they think the government should look like. It's because it helps their side more. You want some real ass fucking shit? And I'll say this 1,000,000 times over. And I know it's true, and I can never prove it to you, but I know 1,000,000,000,000% it is absolutely true. If the majority of the people immigrating to this country from the South were white neo-Nazi/conservatives, you better fucking believe that the Democratic Party, or progressives especially, would be hardcore anti-immigration. 1,000,000,000,000%. Guarantee it. You better believe that if they drew up some ultimately fair redistricting plan, if a computer, if an AI, if a benevolent God from above came down and showed us that if you redraw districts in the most fair way possible, it would actually favor conservative lawmakers across several states, you better believe that Democrats would be against it, that progressives would be against it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that these two things are the same. I think having a coup is a lot more fucked up and inarguably worse than trying to either get rid of the Senate or rebalance the electoral college order. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, I think motherfuckers only push for what they think will give them more political power. That's it. That's all I'm saying, okay?
Right? Them blaming Buffalo on the Great Replacement theory and racist conservatives. You.
Officials believe the gunman accused of the mass shooting in Buffalo was inspired by the white replacement conspiracy theory. Now, this is a baseless belief that white people are being slowly but intentionally replaced by minorities and immigrants.
The concept was once a fringe theory, but now it's embraced by many Republican lawmakers and Fox.
See, look, they said it was once fringe, guys. That means that when Lauren Southern was pushing it, it was not mainstream, okay? So you can't hold her accountable for anything.
Hosts.
For example, Fox News host Tucker Carlson. People count up this kind of stuff. So whether you watch him or not, the fact is that the people who do and who track this note that he has made a reference or variation to this type of hateful conspiracy theory, this replacement thing, over 400 times since 2016.
We also have, prominent talking heads, Tucker Carlson, Fox News, making hundreds of references, a study has shown, hundreds of references to this kind of great replacement theory.
Did you peer review that
notions
paper?
of white genocide.
So when people like Tucker Carlson present a ready-for-cable version of the theory, it makes more extreme versions of it more accessible to audiences who would have never encountered it or would have never really thought about it.
Hate that through the media.
Why did guys, I'm trying so hard. I'm trying so hard not to become a conservative. I swear to God. I don't have to try. I don't think I'm moving. I think the world is moving. Why the fuck did Obama? Maybe this is a fake tweet. Somebody can tell me if maybe this is a fake tweet. Why the fuck did Obama tweet out, guys, that school shooting was real bad, but remember George Floyd? Why would he tweet that? There's no way. Why would he do that? I have to go look for his Twitter. It's got to be, maybe it was fake. It's got to be fake, right? It was the anniversary yesterday? Yeah, but like, don't you think it's like, don't you think tying those two things together is like a little bit fucking weird? Like maybe no. As we grieve the children of Uvalde, I don't know how to pronounce this today, Uvalde, we should take time to recognize that 2 years have passed since the murder of George Floyd under the knee of a police officer. His killing stays with us all. Like, isn't this like a little bit like in bad, like, I understand 2 years, he's got to say something. Maybe it's a lose-lose for him, but like, holy fuck. I think that at the very least, I think he should have done two separate tweets. Jesus Christ. Or he should get that omniliberal interpreter guy underneath, like I have. Bro, it's not even that lefties are moving more left or righties are moving right. It's that populism is fucking rotted everybody's fucking brain.
Politics, the internet, has radicalized, angry, alienated, lost, and isolated individuals into falsely believing that they will be replaced. That's the word, replaced.
Okay, so let me be clear about something. They're trying to use the term the Great Replacement Theory. And the reason for that is that's basically an anti-Semitic sort of fringe theory that comes from people who believe that there's this cabal of Jews who are trying to replace white people. Okay. Of course, I don't believe that. And this is very important for me. I would like to see a comment below because I would like people to see the biggest, right-leaning YouTube channel that's ever existed. If you agree with the sentiment I'm about to express. I don't think that George Soros is sitting there,
What do the comments? I wonder if they're... Okay. Maybe. Okay, all right, not bad. Okay. See, not anti-Semitic. That's okay.
Killing white babies. Okay. But what is happening is...
You agree with Elon Musk's tweet implying that conservatives haven't also moved farther right just as much as progressives? It's the problem is that like talking about just right and left, there's like multiple different like axes that we can measure our political beliefs on. So it's kind of weird to talk about things from just like a right or left perspective. So like maybe historically people might view, so like here's one axis, right? How hawkish are you? How hard are you to do like aggressive foreign policy? I think in the era of Bush and Obama and Clinton, I think people would view, roughly speaking, as conservatives as being generally the hawkish party. That conservatives are the ones that want to go to war. George Bush got us into Iraq. Obama said he'd get us out of Iraq and Afghanistan. He didn't. But generally speaking, that was a trend. But nowadays, well, with Trump, like Hillary Clinton, they were seen as more hawkish. And now Trump wanted to be like the isolationist guy. So what does it mean to be left or right when it comes to foreign policy, because there are a lot of kind of like newer aged like conservative people like the Charlie Kirk types and everything that are like, we need to be hardcore isolationists. We need to do no foreign intervention whatsoever. That's all morally wrong. Hillary Clinton is the one that wants the no-fly zone over Syria. Hillary Clinton is the one that went into Libya and literally herself killed Gaddafi. Like Hillary Clinton is evil. So like it's hard to that's why I'm saying it's hard to just say left versus right. Now, if we look at like establishment versus populists, populists are hardcore isolationists. The Bernie bros don't want us involved in any foreign affairs at all. The Trump fanatics don't want us involved in any foreign affairs at all. So it's hard to like, yeah, it's just hard to measure left versus right. It doesn't really make sense, you know? What is David Shore's take? Meme aside, I think the basic state of things is that Democrats have moved left on econ and social issues. This is probably true, definitely on social issues. Republicans have held steady on social issues but moved left on economic issues, where Republican support for democratic norms have considerably eroded. Yeah, I guess it just kind of depends on how do we graph like your support of democratic institutions, because Republicans don't care about any of those anymore. Republicans don't give a fuck about any of our institutions. They don't trust any of the intelligence. They don't trust any of the government. Like, everything is fucked. Democrats have higher trust for it. It's still eroded, but LOL moved left on economic issues. It feels like Republicans have moved a bit left on economic issues. If you're measuring economic issues as like a party's tendency to like suck off large corporations, it feels like post-Tea Party, post-Trump, Republicans are a bit more critical of like big business, that they'll want to do things that might harm big business, like curbing immigration and stuff, to protect like native wages and things, which is arguably a kind of a movement to the left on social or on econ policy. Maybe, but I guess it depends. It's so, I guess it just depends on how you measure it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Weren't Republican voters pretty in favor of the stimulus too? I believe they were, although eventually they wanted to roll back expanded unemployment insurance quicker than Democrats did, but it was still for quite a while, but yeah, I don't know. How is protectionism left-wing? Did I say that protectionism was left-wing? I think protectionism is populist, generally. Like, far-left people like Bernie were in favor of protectionist, isolationist policies. Far-right people like Trump are in favor of, like, protectionist or isolationist policies. That's a populist idea. You heavily implied it. Okay, well, now I just told you what I meant if you couldn't figure it out. What is populism? Imagine that in one group, you've got a bunch of people that like study political theory, economic theory, and they try to make decisions about like what they think would be the best for a country or whatever. And then in the other group, you've got a bunch of people that have like their favorite YouTubers. The people in the latter group are populists. They just like people, and they think that people are better than everything else, and everything else sucks. And they just have to have like the best team leader, and he'll do everything on his own. Do you think people like Vaj see the other side as evil because they're completely eliminated interaction with them in the outside world and stay in their own online bubbles? My neighbors are super conservative, but are super sweet people. Yeah, I think it's kind of like that. I even saw some poor dude, I think he got downvoted. Is your mom fully in the populist bandwagon? Yeah, I remember asking her last time. I went out to eat. So I was curious, like, Mom, like, why did you guys all become the party of Trump instead of Republicans? And she's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, if any other Republican ran and Trump ran for third party, you would vote for Trump, right? She's like, yeah, I would. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't know. I can't explain it. Yeah, I think, what was it? Somebody in Vosh's subreddit was like, oh yeah, I'm a little uncomfortable about this because my parents are both conservatives, but they seem to be pretty nice people. I know they're very loving. I think they got downvoted. RIP.
Demographic changes due to large amounts of illegal immigration occurring unchecked and being made the beneficiaries of the social safety net, a current welfare system in this country, in order to ensure their votes. Not saying there's a planned orchestration of genocide against white people, but there absolutely is a plan in place that is taking place right now before your very eyes in allowing mass illegal immigration into this country in order to try and change voting demographics. Now, I know you're going to say, hold on, and I want you to comment if you agree that that's what's happening, and I didn't have to mention race once, by the way, let's be really clear. However, that exact...
Honestly, I'm having a hard time figuring out what exactly about Trump your mom likes. Based on what you've said, she was a standard Republican American, loves the troops, loves American values, just a little conservative in general. I feel like Trump doesn't really represent any of that. So, if you don't... If you're engaging with a system, if you're engaging with a highly complex system, and it feels like you're getting fucked by that system, and you can't even really put your finger on it, it's you want somebody to blame because the system is hard to understand and it's easy to find like a simple problem and a person that'll tell you that simple problem and then kind of blame that on everything. Like it might be a video game like, oh, this is rigged, the slot machines are rigged against me, league is rigged, whatever. You might be up against like very complex systems and it's hard as a human to sort of that out. It's easy to get one person to blame it all. Populism is very sexy, and having like a big guy come out and basically say like, everything is rigged, all the systems, all the institutions, they're all fucked, everything is fucked, I can help you. Like that kind of like rhetoric is just really appealing. It was appealing with Bernie Sanders, it was appealing with Trump. Yeah. Literally, at the end of the day, it's all about entertainment. Trump was entertaining. The media reported on him a lot because it was easy clicks and views. Wrong. That is absolutely not true. Trump's rise to power wasn't because he was entertaining. It was because it seemed like he was giving voice to an opinion that a lot of people had, that the system was rigged and corrupt and fucked, and that he was the only one that was willing to come out and say it. That's where Trump's popularity comes from. Don't ever misunderstand that. If you don't understand that, you don't understand the American political story over the past 5 or 10 years. You're completely out to sea. You're completely lost if you can't understand that thing. It was the same reason why Bernie was able to get as popular as he was. Trump's rise to popularity because people felt like for the first time somebody was finally saying something that needed to be said, that he was willing to give voice to opinions that were unheard in mainstream media, that a whole bunch of Americans were feeling. That was why Trump rose to popularity. Being entertaining helps, sure, but like he seemed like a real dude. Like, you know, on a stage next to Rubio's that are rehearsing lines, on a stage next to Cruz's who are well-spoken, but seem a bit robotic. You get a guy like Trump that seems like a normal dude, you know, like, now I'm not saying any of that is right.
You asked me to add you on Discord yesterday while you were reviewing my debate with Vosh. I couldn't find your username, though. Want to add me? Luca Beasley, #9869.
Oh, sure. I don't agree that that's true also. Fuck, I feel like I have to caveat so many times because you guys are so fucking stupid. What I'm talking about is the perception also as well. This is the perception of Trump, not necessarily what he is, because Trump's not a normal guy, right? The fact that a whole bunch of Republicans got around and are like, wow, Trump's a normal dude that represents me. When you're talking about a New York billionaire real estate mogul or whatever, come on, dude, this guy has no idea what the fuck your life is like. Like, this guy is like Bill Gates. He probably thinks a banana is 20 bucks. Like, yeah, like the idea that, but yeah, that this is why Trump got as popular as he did, is because there's the perception that he's like airing these grievances that the American people have had for so long that they haven't been able to get out. Mogul, not Mongol, sorry. He was a mongrel though. Wait, is mongrel racist now?
That sentiment has been expressed for years by the left, and they do make it a race thing. They call it the browning of America, and they brag about it.
In a few years, we're going to be a majority brown country. White people will not be the majority in the country anymore.
This will be the first generation ever in American history in which whites will be a minority of the generation at some point.
As of 2007, every year, babies being born in this country, whites now are the minority.
In 2044, everyone is going to be a minority.
As the demographics change, as white people become the minority in the country, which is coming.
Demographics is...
I think if we've learned anything, if I've learned anything, we have to be more sensitive. One of the big problems that progressives have, and I used to have the same problem, is believing that whites are the master race, okay? You have to stop thinking about this. You have to stop viewing it this way, okay? I'm going to say this until the day that I die, okay? White people are just like every other type of people. If you got on news every day and started talking about how cool it was that black people were disappearing, that Asian people were disappearing, that Hispanic people were becoming lesser and lesser, nobody would be okay with that. You cannot expect white people to have this master understanding of sociology and to hear the same messages that if given to any other group of people would be horrible and think they're okay. You can't do that. You have to treat white people like normal people. You can't pretend that they're these gods that can, yes, indubitably, we will become a minority someday, but the power structures that exist in society will make this an acceptable passage of event. Like, you can't do that. You absolutely cannot do that. You have to be smarter, okay?
Destiny. Demographics is destiny.
Demographics is destiny, right? The country is changing.
I've been saying it here. Other people have been saying it here for years now, even before Donald Trump. The demographics is destiny.
The white population is declining for the first time in history in America, while the number of multiracial Americans have more than doubled.
So we live in a country where the demographics are changing. It's becoming less white.
Correct.
Okay.
You'll be announcing that we're calling the 38 electoral votes of Texas for the Democratic nominee for president. It's changing. It's going to become a purple state and then a blue state because of the demographics, because of the population growth.
The growth in Texas has been almost entirely driven by non-white population growth, mostly by Hispanic and Latino population growth.
Demographics are destiny. So look, I think now it's fair. Hey, there's a huge difference between believing in the superiority of one's race versus acknowledging the changing of demographics. We have an overlay here. We have a reference. Let's go to overlay J. Really quickly. There you go. Those are the numbers. Those are the projections. Okay. And the left is bragging about it. Now, I'm going to get to the history a little bit of immigration, how this changed dramatically, and why there's a difference when people say, well, we're a country of immigrants. Well, that's true. Immigration up through the 1960s,
oh no,
the 30s, 40s, not at all the same as today. Here's the primary difference. You cannot have open borders and you cannot have mass immigration when you have a social safety net and a welfare culture. It's very...
Okay, do we really have that in the United States?
Very different.
Yeah. Do you think the Great Replacement means will become politically relevant, or is it just for this bit of time because of recent events? I think they've been very relevant for a while. You guys just don't hear about it much because you don't listen to much mainstream conservative stuff. Tucker Carlson has been talking about this stuff for a long time. I feel like I remember in Glendale, when I lived there 3 or 4 years ago, seeing him being like pretty avowedly talking about how white people were being replaced in the United States. Like, it's a thing that people have been talking about for quite a while in mainstream media.
And that's where we are right now. When that happens, you've got to close the books, or at least have a guest book. There's a huge difference between legal and illegal immigration. The left tries to act as though we throw it all together. Look, if you look at the Irish, the Italians, the Jews, these people in Europe who are fleeing wars, people will now say, oh, what happened to, Statue of Liberty? Give us, you're tired, you're hungry, you're poor. Yeah, at that point in time, there was no promise to feed the hungry, no promise to pay the poor from the taxpayer. That's a very different time. It was a very different reason for people migrating to this country, and it is not a scenario today that is tenable when you have people coming in and suckling at the public teat.
Well, yeah, and they...
unless some data exists that I don't see. This is why this Republican argument is so dumb. Like, the people that come here, this was always like, this happened under the Bush era. It's the mythical, lazy, hardworking immigrant. It's the mythical welfare recipient immigrant that's also simultaneously stealing multiple American jobs. Like, you got to tell me what it is. Is it the lazy Mexican dude that's sitting at home leeching welfare all day? Or is it like the illegal immigrant who doesn't qualify for welfare, who's working 3 jobs? Like, they can't do all of these things at once. You got to pick one story and stick with it instead of trying to shoehorn every possible negative fucking stereotype onto people that come here illegally. I don't think illegal immigration is good. I think we should legalize everybody, because the concept of deporting 13 to 15 million Americans is fucking, or even illegal immigrants, it's a stupid concept. It'll never work. It's a pipe dream. It's dumb as fuck. But the like the people that come here illegally can't. I don't know how people that I don't know what Carter's talking about. He's saying we differentiate between legal and illegal immigration, but we don't want people coming here and stealing welfare. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about when he says that. If you're an illegal immigrant and you come to the United States, you can't really get welfare unless you find some way to steal it. My understanding is that the majority of illegal people that come here will be doing things like stealing social security numbers, which means you're actually paying more taxes into a system you can never withdraw from, because that's not your social security number. You just have it so you can fucking work. That's one thing. A second thing, though, is if you do legally immigrate to the United States, at the very least, this is what my K-1 process is like. I'm pretty sure it's like this for most immigration. I don't think they let you legally immigrate to the United States if you're going to be on welfare. Like, somebody can tell me for somebody can tell me if. Are there types of visas or ways besides like refugees that you can immigrate to the United States and then like immediately have to go on welfare? I thought, aren't they usually, don't they check for that pretty hardcore? Like, you're right, you need an affidavit. Like that, all of the processes that I am familiar with, whether it's the exceptional talent visas or the B1 visas or the HB1 visas or or like the K1 visa that I did for Melina, usually if people are coming to the United States to legally immigrate, like people have to prove that you've got money, you're not going to be a leech on the system. Like, is Destiny Pro open borders? Why legalize 11 million criminals? Criminals? What? Okay, because one, you're never deporting that many people. You're fucking insane if you think you're deporting that many people, number one. Okay, that's never gonna happen. Number two, they're already working here, okay? Why not just fucking legalize them and get them all into the system? I know the argument why, it's because you don't want them voting. I can't help you with that. Maybe we could meet in the middle and I could say like a path towards citizenship means that they don't get to vote for 10 years or something, if that would make you feel better because you don't want like the voting to be thrown off in the places where they're made legal, I guess. They'd probably be happier with that than being here illegally, but it incentivizes people to cheat again. True. Any type of illegal voter amnesty shit would have to be paired, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. I mean, it should be. It's unfortunate because it'd be harder to pass. I think you have to pair it with comprehensive immigration reform. It's kind of like student debt forgiveness. I don't think you can. I don't think you can do student loan debt forgiveness without pairing it with some sort of comprehensive education reform. Because the perverse incentive shit is beyond fucked if you go that route. But wouldn't that be unconstitutional? All citizens are supposed to be able to vote. Well, no. I mean, like, what? Fuck, I don't know anything about that. I should know this because my wife is getting... Melina's getting a green card, which is permanent residence. I don't think she can vote, though, right? You can't vote with a green card, can you? Don't you have to... Once you have your green card for 2 or 3 years, don't you then apply to become, like, a citizen? No, yeah, so you can give them like a residence card so that they can be here, work legally, get some sort of social, I don't know if they get a social security number or some employment number. Like, yeah, get some shit like that. I mean, then do that. I'm sure that most illegal immigrants would probably be happy with that, would be my guess, you know? Mexican immigrants should skip Texas and Cali and go for the middle and make a newer Mexico in the middle of America. The problem is that, like, bro, if you conservatives would just stop being so fucking racist, you would be more in favor of this, and the Democrats would be eventually against it, okay? Hispanics are like your best voter base. They want to have strong families. They believe in traditional values. They think trans people are fucking weird. They want to work fucking jobs and not get on fucking welfare because, bro, if you live in any place we've ever driven around anywhere, Mexican people are always the hardest motherfucking people working, okay? At least in the Midwest they were. They were the guys roofing. They're the guys doing all the fucking horrible jobs outside. Like, yeah, I just, like, it's such a good potential voter base for you if you could just not be racist, okay? Just pretend that they're, I don't know, pick what's a good Hispanic person that all conservatives like. It's a powerful potential voter base for you, and they share so many of your values, economically and socially. But yeah, a lot of Hispanic people don't like women. They're kind of misogynistic, very tradcon, slut shame, like, bro, it's like, at Destiny. So then why do they vote Democrat? Why do Democrats want more illegals? Hispanic people vote Democrat because Republicans come off as being hella fucking racist. That's literally the only reason. And Democrats are doing a really good job right now of pushing away Hispanic voters. But like, Hispanics vote Democrat on economic issues. That's why they do it. And immigration. That's it. Do you think Hispanics are voting Democrats because fucking Pedro that just came home from his like 3 different construction jobs really wants to see Leah Thomas in the fucking Olympics? Like, come on, bro. Like talk to a brown person ever. Talk to a brown person anywhere your entire fucking life. Okay? They don't give a fuck about these types of like social issues like this. Fucking I don't have the polling data in front of me. Somebody can link if you want. It wouldn't surprise me like the majority of Mexicans are against like, or Hispanic Mexican Americans or whatever, are like opposed to like abortion and shit. Go find some brown people, okay? Jesus. Immigration isn't an important issue for Hispanic voters. That wouldn't even surprise me, to be honest, because I think a lot of them are actually against illegal immigration too, or at least the ones that legally immigrated tend to be, I think, against illegal immigration. But what about the reverse? What should Democrats do to keep them voting blue? Democrats have to stop treating groups of people like blacks and browns and Asians, because like the different groups have very different histories and the way that they relate to each other in the U.S. and what they need is way different. But the funny shit to me was my parents hating my Mexican friends, but then I go over to my Mexican friend's house and they're literally watching the Mexican version of Glenn Beck. Who is the Mexican version of Glenn Beck? Did they ask you for financial info when trying to apply for a visa for Melina? Yeah, I think it was a ton of financial shit. I think I had to give like tax return. I think I had to give like 3 years of fucking tax returns. But I'm pretty sure that's a normal process. If you're legally immigrant, I don't know if you're Geraldo Rivera. I don't know if other European countries do this, but in the United States, if you're legally immigrating here, they do not fucking want you on welfare. They do a lot of financial checks and shit. They do not want you coming to the US to take up some of our very limited, very precious wealth, because we don't have a lot of it, okay? We don't have a lot of that money to go around in the US. But they want to make sure that you're financially independent or that you have somebody that's going to sign an affidavit that will support you to avoid you getting on. Conservatives are racist, yet more Democrats are switching parties now than ever before. Is that true? I thought that January 6th was the largest departure from a political party when the Republicans left, and not I say en masse, but a decent chunk left the Republican Party over that. But even if we expanded welfare, would you want legal immigrants to move to welfare the moment they move to the U.S.? No. The concept of open borders. Is people ought to sort themselves out economically. I think that's fine. If there are jobs that can be filled in the United States and there are people in other countries that want to move here to work, that's cool. I think that's fine. People, there's a name for this type of adverse selection economically. I don't remember what it's called, but there's a specific name of somebody choosing to move to a country for welfare benefits. That shouldn't happen. That should never be the case. You don't want somebody making a selection of a country to move there to get welfare. That's not good. You don't want that type of choice. So, I mean, I think we should make it far easier for people to get legal immigration to the United States, but obviously you discourage people, not discourage, you make it impossible for somebody that just has moved here for some number of years to get welfare. Why do people who immigrate to work need citizenship? Well, I mean, if you immigrate here and it depends on how long you're here for. If you're working here for 5 or 10 years, if you start to have a family, you're bought in then to the country. You have to follow our laws, you have to pay our taxes, you integrate into society. I mean, you have a buy-in, you should have a voice then, right? That's how democracy works. At some point, you should be able to have a voice in how your system is ran if you're gonna be a part of it. Destiny, do you understand that's the exact conservative position on immigration? Are you racist now? Conservatives are okay with making every single person that wants to come here and work a legal immigrant? If that's the case, then color me conservative. I am fully bought into the conservative position on immigration then. If you're telling me that, and I'm glad, Big Chad, you won me over, bro. We're both conservatives today, my brother. We both fully believe in making every immigrant that wants to come here and work legal immigrants 100%. I agree. You've made me conservative today. Thank you. I'm glad we can share that. I'm glad we can share that conservative position, okay?
Looked at it as the land of opportunity.
Yes.
The way that they could go and work hard and make something for themselves, not a place to come and just get taken care of.
Yes.
That was the thing. It's a little bit different mentality.
Well, what happened is they were fleeing.
I don't think Hispanic people do that. Did Coffee link something where I feel like everything I've seen for immigration, for like immigrants using welfare is always lower than native people. But I don't know, maybe there's more data I haven't seen, but like, and there are such easy ways to deal with this. Just make it so that if you immigrate here legally, you're not allowed to fucking do. Why would you? Destiny, I work in an auto parts shop and I'd rather help a Latino with no English working through Google Translate than another sobbing white or Asian woman. Why? Why did you have to? We're on an anti-misogyny arc right now, sir, okay? I agree with this. I immigrated to the UAE where immigrants have never been granted citizenship. It feels like you're a second-class citizen. You have no stake in the country. Yeah, if you're willing to move somewhere and work and be a part of, like, contributing and participating in society, then, I mean, at some point you should be able to vote on how that society... This is so cringe, dude. Things we've learned already. Cops rushed in to save their own kids first. Okay, I'm gonna be totally honest. This would be me every time. Is that even surprising? But I guess we can be a little critical, sure. The shooter wasn't armored at all. That might be true. Although Vosh has been guessing on this back and forth because I don't think we'd know. Cop got student killed by having them call out before shooter was dead. What is this? What is even the context of this? What does this even mean? Cops restrained parents from rushing in to save their kids when cops wouldn't. What? Is that a bad thing? Is it the parents are like, I'm going in? Like, wait, what the fuck? What are even these criticisms? My dad cannot even vote in Germany anymore because he hasn't lived in the country for 25 years. Jeez. I thought, well, guys, I'm trying to do conservative stuff. I'm trying to do Steven Crowder now. Wait, where is that Luke guy? Hey, Luke. Hold on, I need to talk to this guy. Why are you guys linking me all this Vosh shit? Imagine firefighters arriving at a burning school and waiting outside for 40 minutes because they're afraid to go in and save anyone. Their only decisive behavior being threatening and restraining the horrified parents. Bro, it's, a fire is not a fucking active shooter. What? Bro. Oh.
18 sets of parents who are never going to get to kiss their child goodnight again.
Is this the moment to reform gun laws?
You know, it's easy to go to politics.
But it's important. It's at the heart.
Bro, politics are... You're a fucking politician. No fucking shit. I don't give a fuck what Ted Cruz, the human being, thinks about fucking shooting victim families. No one cares.
It's amazing to me that despite always taking about fascism, you have no idea what it is.
Fascism is when my dick goes into your mom 400 times, okay?
Of the issue.
I get that.
We're talking to Ted Cruz, the politician, not Ted Cruz, the human, okay? Of course we want political takes from you.
That's where the media likes to go.
No, it's not. It's where many of the people we've talked to here like to go.
The proposals from Democrats in the media, inevitably, when some violent psychopath murders people.
A violent psychopath who's able to get a weapon so easily.
At Destiny, yes, but like, so what's the economic sorting of people? Tech bros being made didn't equal all Republicans, all rep politicians. Sebastian, you gotta type your sentence again for me and I'll read it and answer your question, okay? Sebastian Hernandez, okay? I believe in you, in YouTube chat.
Easily. 18-year-old with 2 AR-15s.
If you want to stop
two?
violent
Jesus, was he dual wielding them?
The proposals the Democrats have, none of them would have stopped this.
But why does this only happen in your country? I really think that's what many people around the world just, they cannot fathom. Why only in America? Why is this American exceptionalism so awful?
You know, I'm sorry you think American exceptionalism is awful.
I think this aspect...
Oh, come on. Engage with it. These are so political. Just engage with it.
I think this aspect of it.
You got your political agenda.
No, it's honestly...
God love you.
Senator, it's not. I just want to understand why you do not think that guns are the problem.
Why is this just an American problem?
It is just an American problem, sir.
Mr. Cruz, why is America the only country that faces this kind of mass shooting?
But you can't answer that. You can't answer that, can you, sir? You can't answer that. Why is this country...
Why is it that people come from all over the world to America? Because it's the freest, most prosperous, safest country on earth.
It may be the freest, it may be the most
safest? I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one, Chief. Okay.
Changes due
there we go.
to large amounts
We're back
of
in
illegal
it, guys.
immigration
We're plugged in.
occurring unchecked and being made the beneficiaries of the social safety net, a current welfare system in this country, in order to ensure
Wait, I thought we got past all this.
Votes. Not saying there's a planned orchestration of genocide against white people, but they're absolutely...
I don't think that the... Fuck. Now I feel like I'm super unplugged from all this shit now. I don't think the Republicans have this weird concept of like, we're giving them like welfare to win their votes or something. I don't think voters make decisions like this necessarily. I just don't think this is how people, because like there's a very weird relationship in this country where I'm pretty sure like most of the like economic success arguably or inarguably technically comes from blue areas. Not because Republicans are lazy pieces of shit, but just because like blue areas tend to be like high city areas. Like when you stick a bunch of people really close together, you get them all working at tech and shit, you end up producing like way more economic value. I'm pretty sure most of the red states in this country are subsidized by blue states. The concept of like people just voting for benefits, like I just don't think that really bears out well in reality. Unless you're going to consider maybe things like minimum wage, like a benefit maybe. But otherwise, I feel like this is just kind of like a really simplistic view of how people vote. I don't know. Lauren seemed visibly annoyed by you wanting to send her the Go in Israel meme. Why are you... I don't care. It's a good meme. Stop. Memes aren't funny until you've ran them into the ground and everyone around you hates you for them, okay? I'm bringing the Mort meme next, all right?
Is a plan in place that is taking place right now before your very eyes in allowing mass illegal immigration into this country in order to try and change voting demographics. Now, I know you're going to say, hold on, and I want you to comment if you agree that that's what's happening, and I didn't have to mention race once, by the way, let's be really clear. However, that exact sentiment has been expressed for years by the left, and they do make it a race thing. They call it the browning of America, and they brag about it.
In a few years, we're going to be a majority brown country. White people will not be the majority in the country anymore.
This will be the first generation ever in American history in which whites will be a minority of the generation at some point.
As of 2007, every year, babies being born in this country, whites now are the minority.
In 2044, everyone is going to be a minority.
As the demographics change, as white people become the minority in the country, which is coming.
Demographics is destiny.
Okay, I feel like if you're... Now, I know that Republicans don't actually care about making truthful arguments about fucking anything ever. But if you wanted to make this argument actually work, I feel like you have to go on to show that the Democrats are like bragging about this or want it to happen. I think you need a couple more clips because this literally could just be observations. Because observationally, this is true, right? Demographics are going to change over time for a variety of reasons. Immigration, birth rates, economic access, like there's going to be reasons, but like I think you need to go one step farther to show that like they want this to happen. No, but Crowder's audience probably doesn't give a fuck.
Demographics is destiny.
Demographics is destiny, right? The country is changing.
I've been saying it here. Other people have been saying it here for years now, even before Donald Trump. The demographics is destiny.
The white population is declining for the first time in history in America, while the number of multiracial Americans have more than doubled.
So we live in a country where the demographics are changing. It's becoming less white.
Where is the source of the green light? Oh, I have a light down here. I got lights everywhere, dog. Okay. I wish I had a deeper background like I did in Glendale, but I just got lights sitting everywhere. Noel said you're not banned from his website. He sent you a password reset email. I'm pretty sure that when I showed up in my KF thread and I started riling people up, I'm pretty sure they banned me. Oh, but that's good if you unban me. Thanks. I'll go shit post in there later.
Correct.
Okay. You'll be announcing that we're calling the 38 electoral votes of Texas for the Democratic nominee for president. It's changing. It's going to become a purple state and then a blue state.
A vampire?
Because of the demographics, because of the population growth.
The growth in Texas has been almost entirely driven by non-white population growth, mostly by Hispanic and Latino population growth.
Demographics are destiny. So look, I think now it's fair. Hey, there's a huge difference between believing in the superiority of one's race versus acknowledging the changing of demographics. We have an overlay here. We have a reference. Let's go to overlay J. Really quickly. There you go. Those are the numbers. Those are the projections. Okay. And the left is bragging about it. Now, I'm going to get to the history a little bit of immigration, how this changed dramatically, and why there's a difference when people say we're a country of immigrants. Well, that's true. Immigration up through the 1960s, certainly the 30s, 40s, not at all the same as today. Here's the primary difference. You cannot have open borders and you cannot have mass immigration when you have a social safety net and a welfare culture.
Okay, this is the only thing also that I hate about Americans. We do not have any social safety nets in this country, okay? We are so fucking sink or swim. Why do you say this? Why do you say this? Is it because you had mommy, daddy welfare? Where the fuck are our social safety nets? Our education is expensive as fuck. An ambulance trip will fucking bankrupt you, okay? We have no fucking public transportation, so if your car breaks down, you're completely fucked. We have absolutely zero guaranteed days for maternity, fuck paternity leave on anything. Like, where the fuck are all these social safety nets in the United States? Like, we get WIC, so pregnant moms can go and buy a fucking gallon of milk. Like, whoop-de-fucking-do. Like, yeah, we have food stamps, we have Section 8 housing, it sucks. But like this, like, bro, compared to any other fucking developed country in the world, any other OECD country, where the fuck are all of our social safety nets? Holy shit.
It's very, very different.
Yeah.
And that's where we are right now. When that happens...
Oh, yeah. Remember my rants? Yeah, Klappa. Thank you, Fiscal Fortune. Put that on the clip channel. Bro, I know every time he notices it, I can't help it. I feel like every time he's doing it, it's like a... Okay, hold on. You can't bring up Social Security because we pay into Social Security, okay? Medicare and Medicaid exist, which are decent. Medicaid is decent. Medicare, I guess, is pretty good. It was good enough for Rachel to get her cancer drugs on it. But, fuck, what was I going to say? Why are you baiting me so hard with comments? Unless it's been changed, the thing that sucks about Medicare is like the step-offs for like, you know, when people say like, oh, if I earn a little bit more money, I'm going to get fucked because I no longer qualify for, or no, if I earn more money, I'm fucked because I'm in a higher tax bracket. That's stupid. That's not true. But if I earn more money, I'm going to fall out on my Medicaid coverage. I think that actually is true. Oh, I guess for a little bit of lore, some people on Kiwi Farms are trying to make fun of me because Rachel had to take me to court to pay child support. Child support is always court ordered. It doesn't matter if you like, even if you have like an amicable agreement or whatever, child support is always going to be court ordered because that's how it's run through the state. That's how that always goes. The reason why Rachel and I had to separate ourselves like financially, legally and everything was because when our income was together, she couldn't qualify for anything that, she couldn't qualify for anything for cancer drugs. She was fucked. She couldn't get on Medicaid while our income was together. And I couldn't afford the cancer drugs. It would have been fucked. But like, yeah, that's a really weird, it's a really weird situation where like if you earn more money, that I don't want to get into this. Who is it? Melvlock? I'm thinking of Melvor the game. Medlock on Twitter made an interesting observation. I don't fully agree with the way that he expressed it, but it's kind of true that technically people that are falling off of welfare programs as they gain more income are theoretically, they're facing some of the largest progressive increases in taxation because of losing benefits as they earn more money. There's an interesting mathematical way to look at it. I don't want to get into all that now, but like it's kind of true. Never mind. Wait, it's called benefits cliff or poverty trap. Yeah, kind of like that. Poor people have AIDS, old people need care. I don't think poor people have AIDS in this country anymore. AIDS is not a very Western problem. That's like an African problem now. Destiny, child support is not always court ordered. I pay my ex child support every month. We've never gone through courts. I live in California. I don't know what it's like in California. I don't know if what you're saying is even true, but in the state of Nebraska, my understanding is that you can't just agree to pay child support. There's always some sort of like court order judge thing around it. Because when we separated, they said you had to go through unless somebody else in chat, maybe I was given the wrong advice. Somebody else had to tell me something different. But in Nebraska, I was told that it has to be like processed through the state systems in order to show that like payments are being made or whatever. Maybe there's a way that you can formally agree out of court and then you take that and then like the state agrees to it, maybe. I don't know, but in Nebraska, they told me that I had to do, yeah. The dude who said that probably got scammed by his wife. I don't know. It's not legally child support unless it goes through the state, even if both parties agree that it is. Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what my understanding was. This is the oldest video ever. Okay, can we please? We're 7 minutes through, guys. Didn't healthcare prices increase under Obamacare? What about inflation under Biden? How are Democrats better? Healthcare prices did increase under Obamacare, but coverage also increased as well, which was the goal of the ACA, was to get more people covered. And it did. It affected that goal. The ACA was never going to lower healthcare prices because it was too toothless. It didn't have the power to do that. We didn't give the government the ability to negotiate any drugs. We didn't have any cost-saving measures involved. Like, it was never going to happen. Okay.
To close the books, or at least have a guest book. There's a huge difference between legal and illegal immigration. The left tries to act as though we throw...
Wait, fuck. Didn't we make it this far before? Did we just rewatch 3 minutes of this video?
But altogether, look, if you look at the Irish, the Italians, the Jews, these people in Europe who are fleeing wars, people will now say, oh, what happened to, Statue of Liberty? Give us, you're tired, you're hungry, you're poor. Yeah, at that point in time, there was no promise to feed the hungry, no promise to pay the poor from the taxpayer. That's a very different time. It was a very different reason for people migrating to this country, and it is not a scenario today that is tenable when you have people coming in and suckling at the public teat.
Well, yeah, and they looked at it as the land of opportunity.
Yes.
The way that they could go and work hard and make something for themselves, not a place to come and just get taken care of.
Yes,
that was the thing. It's a little bit different mentality.
Well, what happened is they were fleeing impending war, right? Throughout, obviously, I don't know if you're a history buff, but
yeah.
Do you know
the early 20th century? No, there were two.
Several.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, they blew their wad when they called the first one like the Great War. They had no idea what was coming.
Oh no,
the Greater.
Like this is the best war. Oh, that doesn't ring right.
Wait till you see 3. That's coming any minute.
So a lot of people were fleeing Europe.
Wait, hold on. Oh my God, I'm so bad at history. I fully admit it. Okay, so help educate me. I thought the first huge waves of immigrants were pre-World War I. I know there are other wars going on in Europe, but I thought there were a lot of people that came to the United States literally because they just wanted. It wasn't just people fleeing like big wars. No, I thought that like the Ellis Island shit and everything was a ton of people coming to the U.S. to get work and opportunity and shit before. Yes, but they were German-based. The fascists that infiltrated our country.
Right? Because of these impending wars, they were constantly under the threat of tyranny. They wanted to be a part of America. They weren't coming here to get handouts. They were not coming here to this country to break the law. Not saying that everyone right now who's coming to this country is breaking the law, but a disproportionate amount of crime certainly committed on the southern border is by people who are here illegally. So they came here with no promises on boats. Few bucks in their pocket. Today, half of all immigrant households receive at least one major welfare program.
Wow.
In 2018, 49% of households headed by all immigrants, naturalized citizens, legal residents, and illegal immigrants used at least one major welfare program compared to 30% of households headed by the native-born. I wonder what major welfare program that I'm so curious what that counts as. Can anybody find me? I'm going to look at this. Hold on. I'm just curious what they're counting there. In 2018, 49% of households headed by all immigrants. Also, I don't know why they would lump legal immigrants, naturalized citizens, legal residents. I don't know why these are all lumped together too, which is irritating, but that's okay. This is for the Center for Immigration Studies. Low immigration, pro-immigrant. Okay. In 2018, 49% of my households right now, 60% use this one program. Okay, progress examined. The major welfare programs examined in this report are Supplementary Security Income, SSI, Temporary Assistance to Needy Families, TANF, the Earned Income Tax Credit. Really? We're saying that the EITC is counting as a welfare program? I mean, I guess it kind of does, but free or subsidized school and breakfast, lunch, food stamps, SNAP, Medicaid, public housing, and rent subsidies. That's... That, I don't know how I feel about putting the earned income tax credit in there. That's kind of weird, but Cato rips into the study. True, to be fair, the Center for Immigration Studies sounds like they're in favor of low immigration. Cato is libertarian think tank, I think, probably massively in favor of immigration. But yeah, lots of people come to America for that tax credit. I mean, I'm pretty sure people come to America because they can work and earn more here, even without that tax credit. But I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, calling a tax credit welfare in the same way that, like, that's I don't know how that's kind of weird to me. I don't know how I feel about that one. Okay, I don't want to go through the study, response study, or whatever. That's a weird inclusion. But okay, I was just curious where that number came from.
And the left wants mass illegal immigration. Why? So they can guarantee a path to citizenship, and they can.
I also feel like I don't want to talk about this. I feel like age would factor into this a lot as well. So if we're saying that like student lunch subsidization counts as like as a welfare program, a major welfare program, I mean, households headed by native borns are probably going to skew a lot older. And so you're going to have like grandma and grandpa that don't have any kids. Like there's going to be a lot of these welfare programs that they're never even going to qualify for. They can't. Or like earned income tax credit for retirees isn't going to be there either. I don't know how I feel about this one, but okay.
And the left wants mass illegal immigration. Why? So they can guarantee a path to citizenship and they can get votes. Race has nothing to do with it. But here's the thing.
Okay, that's a little weird too. If you're going to say that like the left is only doing this to win elections, that kind of sounds like you're saying it's an intentional thing done to like fight, but I mean, whatever.
At one point, race did have something to do with immigration policy. And I was going by rote this morning or last night when I was talking about this. I think a lot of you don't know that there was a proactive shift in immigration policy, you can thank Ted Kennedy, here in this country because they wanted to favor big corporations and keep a permanent working class. Okay, so let me kind of give you a little bit of a briefer. So after World War II, there were a lot of immigrants, right, that were coming from Europe, and they were skilled. They were looking for good jobs. In other words, they weren't coming from countries that had not developed places. What do you mean? Honduras, El Salvador, Mexico, places that have not given anything else, and I mean this, anything else to the modern industrialized world. They were coming from places like Germany, like Poland, like parts of the UK.
Well, and very relatively similar cultures too.
Right? Relatively
Obviously
similar cultures.
But relatively similar.
And they were looking for good jobs. Now here's the thing. A lot of CEOs didn't like that because you're talking about immigrants coming in who are skilled, and so they'll want to be paid more.
Yeah.
Right? So there was a bill, Ted Kennedy supported this bill that cut off immigration from what we now know as the EU, opened it up wide to the Pacific Rim countries. Okay? It's called the Hart-Celler Immigration Act of 1965.
Well, oh God, I did so much oh my God. I'm sorry, hold on. You could do a whole stream on Hart-Celler. I did so much reading about this immigration bill. This is probably one of the most wrong things I've ever heard in my entire life. The Hart-Celler Immigration Act of 1964 was a massive, huge, comprehensive shift in the way that the United States did immigration. It wasn't just corporations wanted to bring in cheap labor. This is like such an unbelievably... I think if you have my notes from the debate I did against Nick like fucking 4 years ago, I have a huge write-up on things related to Hart-Celler. Or you can go and read it. To summarize that whole bill, so my understanding of it was at the time, the reason why demographics got so weird and shifty around that Immigration Act is that when it was passed, there was a provision in the Hart-Celler Act that made it so that, oh, hey, if you're in the United States and you've got family that wants to come over, we're going to make it really, really, really easy for you to bring family members over. Well, at the time in the United States, the majority of people here were European immigrants. There were a lot of people here that they assumed like, oh, cool, we got a lot of European immigrants here. If they can bring family over, then like, oh, cool, maybe more Europeans will come over, whatever. Now, the fact that Hispanic people started migrating more from the South and they were bringing family over is like an unintended side effect of what happened. Nobody at the time that was passing Hart-Celler could see 2 decades into the future and know that like, oh shit, some of these provisions are going to be used in ways that we are unaware of. The idea that Hart-Celler was passed just to get like cheap immigration for businesses is like not, that's such an unbelievably like weird way to describe that. But you can go read it on your own if you want to, or people link you my old notes in chat. Okay, stop with the great rant shit. Now you guys are triggering me.
And they claim to expand civil rights, as far as the movement to immigration and abolishing this national origins quota system. Really what it did is it actually made it nearly impossible for European immigrants to come here with more skills with more education because they believed, and you go, why favor people from the Pacific Rim? Because you're talking about people who would come from manufacturing jobs where they were making pennies, go to the United States, and guess what? They were less likely to ask for more. And so this was the government saying, hey, CEOs, they want cheap labor. And right now, that's not necessarily, the Irish are coming in and opening up pubs. The Italians are coming in and, they're opening up restaurants and also organized crime, but I digress. They said, hey, the Germans are coming in and they're becoming engineers. These CEOs don't want that, so let's change our immigration.
It doesn't even make sense from an economic perspective. Why would they not want that? Why would the CEOs not want cheaper high-skilled labor? Low-skilled labor and high-skilled labor cheaply coming to your country are always a good thing. Why would you ever pretend that CEOs wouldn't want it? It doesn't even make sense. It literally oh God, there has to be a basic econ or finance class for a political commentator. Listening to Vosh talk about well, these guys put in more effort, so they're more productive, productivity, and then none of it doesn't even make sense. None of it logically follows. There are probably decent arguments that you can take here to be anti or pro-immigration. I'm not even trying to say that you have to be pro-immigration or that you even have to be pro-hard seller. Maybe you can say there were bad consequences or there were definitely unintended consequences from a hard seller. For sure, I would agree with that. But this argument. In the words of my racist elders, this ain't it, Chief.
Policy to make sure that we bring in as unskilled, dependent, and therefore grateful to the government immigrants that we can. That was a decision that was made. You need to understand when you go.
That's not even it's just not even remotely true.
Yeah, hold on. A lot of you inherently think there's a difference. You go, well, if I look at the Irish and the Italians, sure, we were a country of immigrants, but it feels like there was something different. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. This is basically like us today saying, hey, China doesn't pay those kids that work in those factories very much. Can we get in on that action? Can we make it easier for them to come over here and just do that here?
Yeah. So what you're saying is okay, let's say America is a Buick.
Yes.
And Ted Kennedy, for example, would be a CEO.
Yes.
Okay, let's say it's driven into the water.
Yes.
Now the water is immigration, and it's filling the car. And now Americans are Mary Jo.
That's exactly.
Okay, so now Mary Jo is just getting surrounded.
Yes.
But
and the Democratic Party waits a day and a half to alert the authorities.
Correct.
Well, but here's what the Democratic
Which really isn't
Party
even allegorical. That's actually what happened.
That's what happened. Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm going for help.
So the CEOs are just showing up all wet to a party and going, "I was here the whole time."
Yeah. Oh, hey, you're all wet behind the ear.
Good one. Good one. Where's Mary?
Yeah, killed the bitch.
Why? Okay, can somebody just ask Crowder? Or what? Maybe I didn't hear. Where's the Chad guy in my YouTube chat? You're really conservative, mad at me. What is Crowder's explanation? Why would CEOs not want cheaper high-skilled labor moving into the country? What was Crowder's response to that? Competition? Wouldn't they want... But hold on. Wouldn't employers want competition in the job market because higher supply of labor drives down wages? Why wouldn't employers want competition from high-skilled labor? Your YouTube chat is delusional? They're conservatives over there, okay? Destiny, because you are replacing native workers. Why the fuck would CEOs care about replacing native workers? No, they're saying they're going to come over and create businesses that compete with them. No, that's bullshit. This is high tier copium.
By the way, that's pretty good. By the way,
that old chatterbox.
Yeah. Just so you know, because I know you watching right now, you may be 20 years old, 18 years old. We have more people in that demographic than any other. You may not know. Ted Kennedy killed abroad.
Yes.
Jeez.
It's on record
that he killed somebody.
It actually happened.
He drove her drunk. Yeah, the Chappaquiddick River.
Yes, and then left her and lied about it and didn't even call for help, and she could have been saved. So just in case you're wondering what's this reference, it's not like some esoteric Dennis Miller. Yeah. It's something that everybody knows.
With no consequences. Sorry, the last thing there. The guy that punched the guy got more consequences for that than Ted Kennedy got for killing somebody.
Well, it's why the brothers got assassinated, and they looked at Ted and were like, all right, I think he'll be taken out fine. Yeah. And it's like, you're not doing anything?
Right. Yeah. Like, well, we're only killing all the Kennedys who did sleep with Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
So,
that was the list.
There's nothing I can do.
No.
It's terrible.
So, Jill, but you were going to talk, this is also, now this comes to today. And all the references are available at loudwithcrowder.com.
Right.
There was a proactive approach in America's legislative policy to basically say, we don't want to bring in people who are coming from universities, coming from skills. We want to bring in people from sweatshops because that's what's best for the...
It doesn't even... None of this makes sense. None of it makes sense. Why would we want to bring in people from sweatshops? The whole reason why corporations will export supply chains to sweatshop countries is because you can pay them a lower wage. That's the entire reason. Why would you bring the sweatshop to your country where now you're forced to follow all the federal regulation, all the baggage, all the OSHA, all the minimum wage? Why would you bring a sweatshop into your country? It's the opposite of why you have sweatshops. It's not a sweatshop if you're in country. Now it's just American labor. Stop doing the thing. Stop. Or I'm going to delete this emote. You guys are being cringe.
The CEOs.
Yeah, and so this bolsters their voting base. Like that's what Tucker Carlson was talking about when CNN ran hit pieces on Tucker Carlson right after this shooting. They ran him talking about illegal immigration, people coming in from the southern border, and so they're like, okay, well, how many? Nearly 1.5 million encounters thus far in fiscal 2022. I think it starts in October, so it's about halfway through the year, just a little bit over.
Yep.
And compare that to 646,000 encounters for all of fiscal 2020. An
Make sure I
entire year.
confirm
That
this.
was
1.5.
Yeah, and that's
to 800.
No,
to,
just it's six.
To 646.
646,000. That's encounters.
That's like almost. It's like almost 3 times.
Well, but
not exactly.
In 2020, Donald Trump's last year, that was the number, right? And they're not even done yet. The 1.5 million will likely be 2.5 to 3 million, somewhere in that neighborhood by the time that fiscal year ends. So the next thing is, the Biden administration so far in this fiscal year, which is about 6 months old at the time that they gave the stat, has released over 836,000 illegal immigrants into the United States. The catch and release. That is more than the Trump administration encountered at the border.
By the way, how many of them are getting formula? We don't have those numbers, but a lot.
How does an illegal immigrant even get assistance when you usually unless you can also show me that illegal immigrants are sophisticated enough to steal en masse American identities to get this stuff as well? What?
Yeah, quite a bit.
That's part of it, but
shut your mouth. You think this is your country? What are you, a racist? But wait a second. I just want to buy.
He's talking
formula.
about in the holding facilities. Oh, okay.
You're giving it to people who aren't even citizens. Shut your racist mouth.
Yeah. Well, the Supreme Court actually just heard a case where they basically wanted to get rid of the stay in Mexico policy, where Donald Trump said, look, if you're coming to this country illegally, the door is revolving. It goes right back into Mexico, and you can stay there. You can make your asylum claim there. You can get everything sorted out there. This administration changed that. They tried to change it by executive order, and it got challenged. Right. So that case has been heard. Hopefully we'll get a...
Okay, don't worry, guys. If you're confused about any of the immigration stuff, Lauren Southern has a great documentary that's releasing on Thursday that we might watch on stream that I'm sure is going to address all of these questions in great detail in a fair and balanced manner on both sides in a way that is just going to make me weep with joy. I'm going to be so proud of her unbiased and fair coverage, guys. All of you are, okay? I'm sure it's going to be. Wait, today is Thursday? Oh, it comes today. Oh, it'll probably be tomorrow. Will she be open about a conversation about it? We might be reviewing it together. I don't know if she wants to or not. I have to ask, but...
a ruling on that this summer, but they are absolutely for, oh, you're here in the United States illegally? Okay, we'll set a court date for you. Go have fun.
Right.
And that's why Greg Abbott sent busloads up to Washington, D.C. and said, look, you're releasing them at our border. How about I bring them to your doorstep?
Right.
I'm not saying these are bad people. I'm just saying they're not doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Right? So that was the point they had. And they don't want a wall. They wanted to end Title 42, which basically was the COVID restriction.
No voter ID.
Send them back.
Because that's racist, even though 87% of black Americans want some kind of ID. But at that point, black Americans are inconvenient. So shut your racist mouth. Hey, black Americans, you think you should have voter ID? What are you, racist? Well, I need ID.
Yeah, but guess what? They're actually hedging their bets because they think voter ID is racist and they say you should.
Is the implication then that and I could be wrong, maybe this happens. Is he saying that 870,000 illegals are just released into the country and then we never hear from them again? Or what is the implication here? I feel like if that was the case, I feel like I'd be hearing about this way more. But I maybe it is, and I just, because I'm too propagandized by liberal media.
Have to have it to vote in this country, but they're also saying that everyone should get an ID just in case.
Just in case.
I wonder why they're saying
because certain states are having ID laws. That's why.
Interesting.
And so they need to ensure that they can get votes. Again,
are these blue states?
Yeah, who knows?
Weird. Mostly Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. I can't think. Michigan, maybe something like that.
I don't know.
And let me end this. Look, it's about voting demographics. Just to be clear, I don't believe that people use interchangeably that race is destiny. Now, I also, by the way, this is something people won't like to hear. I also don't think there's anything wrong with white Americans wanting their neighborhood to look similar to how it looked with their dad and their grandparents. And, you know, people tend to be comfortable around
Some people might get mad at me for this, for saying the bravest statement. Wow. I thought he was actually going to say something bad or something brave there, where he was like, oh, you know, like, I don't think it's necessarily that big a deal if, like, the demographics change so much. But no, he went the other brave route. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting your neighborhood to look like you. Like, what a brave statement, Crowder. Good job.
People they were raised with. Have you been to Mexican neighborhoods? Been to largely black neighborhoods? This is a natural process that takes place. Doesn't mean that you should seclude yourself, but I don't blame black people for watching black entertainment television. I don't blame Latino people for watching Telemundo. I understand that we have different tastes because we have different cultures. Melanin doesn't determine how you vote. Unfortunately, it's about buying votes from the Democratic Party. Like you said, they realized they weren't going to be able to buy the votes of, for example, Italian Americans who came here and started businesses and were paying taxes. They realized this back then, so they said, let's bring in a bunch of people who are basically indentured servants from these countries. So they'll be grateful to us, and they'll vote for us. Well, now you see that changing a little bit, right, with those same Asian Americans back then. You're no longer convenient for them. And you're starting to lean a little more right. So let's now bring in more people from Mexico. Let's make sure that our policy favors people coming from these countries that they, hey, look, you remember who helped you, right? You remember who brought you in? You remember who, even during a pandemic, we paused is it Title 42? We paused Title 40, right? Remember we gave you formula? Remember how to vote? Because on the issues, they can't. When you look at the issues of abortion, you look at the issues of even taxes, you look at the issues of what's taking place in schools, brown Americans, meaning all Latino Americans, and even Muslim Americans, I'm including them among brown Americans and black Americans, overwhelmingly would align with a center-right point of view.
Probably true.
They try to make it about things that they give you so they can purchase your vote. And then as we see today, they only use you when it's convenient. So look, it's not, I want to be really clear about this. It's not about race, but it's not just about culture, because people say it's not just race, it's culture. There's a part of that for sure. We all have different cultures. But let me present something to you, okay? This is something with white supremacists that really bothers me. To the actual white supremacists, and there are very few, like to the 4 of you. Look,
the boots.
Yeah, there are 50% of white people, actually probably more, in our country, who share your same culture, and they vote Democrat. And by the way, right now, think about it, and I understand demographics will change, and so you're concerned about that. However, let's assume those demographics change. The demographics are already bad enough when you take people from your own race and from your own culture.
Wait, what?
You can't say that it was black people. You can't say that it was brown people who screwed you with Barack Obama. It was white people. With Bill Clinton, with Jimmy Carter.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure people are going to come and say, oh, it's a cop-out. I'm not saying that there aren't differences inherently between races. I'm not saying that there aren't differences culturally that often have to do with how people are that are racially based. I'm not saying any of that, but what I am saying is the primary issue is not that, and that's not how the Democrats are thinking of it. They're thinking of whose votes can we buy. And why don't you talk about half of this country whose votes have been bought? I would take 10 brown people who look and act differently from me for every white person who shares my race and culture and is voting to take my rights away. I'd rather have 10 Latino American, assuming, by the way, let's be clear, all legal immigrants, versus one Swedish immigrant who comes in and wants a social safety net system, and by the way, now has lost his bragging rights of being neutral as his shitty country tries to join NATO. How about this? Once you pay up the back bill, pay your tab and you can get in. The problem is that we have right now a system of immigration laws and it starts these people, and by these people, right now I mean, yeah, primarily brown people. I mean, yeah, primarily people coming from South America by design, just because geographically it's easiest for them to come in illegally, and it's in the Democratic Party's best interest for the immigrants to be illegal. Think about that for a second. That by itself, it's in the best interest of the Republican Party and of the American people for immigrants to be coming here legally. It is absolutely, unequivocally, in the best interest of the Democratic Party for them to enter illegally. That's why their policy reflects it.
Good one.